Hello guys, welcome again to Learnsoft Biotech Solutions. Now today I'm introducing to you a very important system. Now over the time Learnsoft Biotech Solutions has been working with on cloud solution for our school ERP, and today I want to unveil the very nice interfaced system which we have already migrated. And basically what our agenda is to be able to meet the needs of the growing needs of the schools that we partner with. We have more than 300 schools using our school ERP, which is a Learnsoft SchoolERP. And now, in our effort to ensure that we meet their needs and even the changing curricula and all that, we have been able to upgrade our system to cloud. And I'm going to show you a preview of what we have. The whole tutorial is going to come out in a few, and I believe this preview will be able to prepare even our clients to be able to appreciate how our system has grown. So we'll get started by logging into our system, and I've just created a user who is the overall user administrator actually to be able to log into that. I have some data which is already fed in the system, but when you log in, this is the first thing that comes into it's basically your dashboard. You can be able to see how many students have been enrolled into the system. We also have a number of users. Currently we have two. We also have learning areas. Now learning areas are like the subjects where now students will be taught in. So basically subjects have been changed to learning areas. These are automatically fed in the system where we see them when we are migrating the system, because we exactly know the areas which have been singled out by uh, the agency really. So we also have total grades. Of course, grades are now the classes. Then we also have the teaching staff. In case, of course, teaching staff is the teachers technically really. So here we ensure that we capture the details of every teacher in the school so that we can account for who logs into the system, what they do in the system, and all that. We also have total parents. Parents need to be linked because from the parents are part of the school. Any information that is we relate to the student, we technically relate to the parent. So incorporating them into the system is very important because we are able to communicate with them when need arises for them to be to hear what we are saying, our plans, our calendar, and all that. We also have invoices. Of course, from the invoices we can be able to say or approximate the expected revenue, maybe in a term, quarter, or maybe annually. We also have the income. Of course, annual income is from the payments. When we receive payments, now that becomes an income. If we have any other sources of income, probably that can also be added in that case. So we also have a graphical presentation of teachers, students, and parents. In this case, you can see we said there are five and they hit year five. They basically there. The students are five of them. Parents have not been fed, and the teaching staff is not yet fed, which is technically the teachers. We also have the fees payment for the year. You can be able to see once students start paying, or rather school receives payment, we'll be able to see the graphs changing accordingly across each and every year. We also have income and expense pie chart. Now that is not the left hand side. You are able to see that we have admission, whereby admission entails enrolling the students. If I click on student enrollment, you are presented with now the list. Now this is a list of all the students who are in the system. And as you saw here, there are five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case, we have only grade 1. They all belong to grade 1. But of course, a school will always have more than one grade or other class. So you feed the information as required. And in this case, we capture all the details from all the way to the end. So basically, it's a lot of details. So the interface for feeding the student data is here. This is basically the information, the interface where you need to feed the data. And in this case, we also capture the student photo, which you can display in various reports within when you're generating them, like the report cards as well. Within the module, still we have the streams. You can define more streams because we want to give you flexibility in the way you are able to generate reports. So in case this one is not a stream, you can change it. You can see I have 3 of them, but mad two, I'm not an angel. Those are not really good names, but you can change them. In this case, you click on it, and then instead of saying that, you say B. You just update them. Then we also have the other one you can edit technically. we can call it C. I don't know what it stands for, but you can write anything within the streams as well. So in this case, now we have stream A, B, and C. Within the admission module, we also have grades. Grades now are the classes technically. So grade 1 or the PP1 all the way to grade 9 or something, you can add them as well and also delete them if you do not need any of these grades so that it doesn't affect your students in the way you have grouped them. So in this case, this means now we are good. We have all the grades in place because this is automatically deleted when we are migrating the system for you. We also have now that is a bit of the three of them are the admission section, and you can be able to see that once you manage the student enrollment data very well, then it means now you stand a chance to be able to have good data when analyzing the other modules. And I always say that admission module is the core of this particular system. If you put the wrong data in the admission module, then it means that wrong data will be translated when we are receiving payments, we are assessing students, and also when we are communicating to the parents. So it's very fundamental that we have the master data in the admission module, very accurate and well put. Now, the other module is the school attendance. If you look at the school attendance, we need to ensure that we can be able to mark a student as present or present. If you attend for that day, the way we do manually, we do not want the teachers to do that. So you just need to be able to go into the system and mark the student as present or maybe absent. So in this case, let me show you a snip of the same. So in the first thing is to associate which grade as which teacher, because these are the teachers who will be able to now do the marking. So we associate teachers with the grades, or rather I say grade 1 we have teacher X, Y, Z or something. So basically so that when they log in, they are only able to see that particular the students who belong to the grades which they have been assigned. We also have the mark attendance. Now, mark attendance means that now every day you need to mark a student as present or absent. Now, I know for today I have already marked, but I will be able to show you the interface. So if you look at this, you can be able to see that once you mark them, you are able to see a student is present or maybe absent. Now these are most of them. Okay, yeah, it's marked as we have 335 total entries for the 5 students, which I have already done. I've generated some information so that you can be able to use it here. So if you say create new or rather mark attendance, you'll be able to see this. Now, this is what happens. Then the reason why we are not able to see anything on that particular interface is because we have already marked for today. In another series, I will be able to show you how now, if you do tomorrow or rather after today, we should be able to see all the students which have been assigned to me being available within this particular interface, because we do not allow you to mark a student twice unless otherwise you're not allowed to mark twice. That's why when it is checked, it disappears from this particular interface, so you cannot be able to just mark unnecessarily. If you put them absent or present, then that's it. But I know there are privileges where you can be able to enable teachers to be able to make some modification if they probably clicked the wrong data for that. Now, the most interesting part, let's look at these reports, attendance reports, because I've already generated one. Now, if you look at the attendance reports, you'll be able to see a detailed, well analyzed kind of report for every student that has come to whose attendance has been already marked. And if you look at these are the students. I've been able to mark for like 2 months, just data for the 5 students that we have. And if you look at it here, you are able to search. Sometimes it's very important that you search for data in this particular case. But this is very detailed, well analyzed report on how the student has been attending. And one of the things you'll be able to see is that we have the student name, which comes here. It doesn't repeat itself, it's just once. The admission number, so that you're sure which student we are dealing with. Then the total number of days. Of course, all of the students have equal number of days. So it's upon it's from the total days we are able to see. Now we also get a report of the days present. Now if you look at John Kathie, just the first student here attended was present in 60 days out of the 67. That means the days absent were 7. So in this case, the percentage is 89.6%. If you look at the second one, they attended 64, and then 3 days they were absent. If you look at the third one, we have 51 out of 6, and then 60. That gives us 76.1%. Then we also have the other one with the same. And then the last one here, if you look at Sheldon Cooper, we have 48 days present and 19 days absent out of the 67. That gives you 71%, 71.6% attendance. So if a student is maybe below 75% in attendance, then it means we'll indicate it with red, and that shows you there's a problem with the way they are attending. So in this case, you can be able to make a decision on whether and what is affecting this student from maybe showing up for school every day. Why is the attendance so low? So managers can be able to make the right decision and probably make them go to the right direction. Maybe inquire about why the student is not attending school and the problem. So if you look at the 67 days, I've already marked them, and you can see here it will be able to group the attendance in terms of the year. So we have the year, then the month. Every month separate, every year separate, and then down there we have the day, which is indicated in the name of the day and also the date of that particular day. So in this case, we are able to see 2022 in September from 1st of September is full all the way to 30th of September in 2022. You can be able to see the attendance. So in a case where we have a green tick, that means it's present. In a case where we have X, which is red, then it means the student did not attend. So in this case, you can be able to make just decision, but this is more of graphical presentation of that particular student. You can see Cooper has more X's down there. So it means his attendance was very low. So if we proceed like that, we'll be able to see 2023. Then 2023, I only had one entry for July. You can be able to see it here. Every student was attended in this case. We also have August, one of them. Basically, two students were missing, did not attend. Then we have September. September is also another full month, which I put the data for. And you can be able to see from September 1st to date 30 of 2023. The data is there. Then we also have October, and then I put the other month so that you can be able to see the way it is grouping very well the students. So these are the 67 entries, or rather the days which the students attended. And in this case, you can also be able to export this data. If I click on CSV, then you can be able to export, and then you'll be able to look at it in this case, something like this. This one is good. Excel is giving us the right ticks and X's, and you can be able to see them. Very well done. See, these are very well done. So that's how the data can be gotten, and also you can be able to export. You can even copy and show you it has copied that data. So if I minimize this, you can be able to see the data is very well presented, and management will be able to make a decision based on this particular data, which is very important for the school to be able to see and monitor how the students are attending the school. Now, the other thing is when students are marked as absent, we also need an explanation and probably notify the teachers that your student did not show up. Sometimes could be malice or something. So it's very important we notify the parents. Now, parents are notified. If we check that the student is absent, then an SMS is automatically sent to the parent telling them that we did not see Sheldon, we did not see maybe Leonard, we did not see Mercy, we did not see Manduka, and that's how we'll be able now to make sure that there is a sync between the school and also the parents who are also stakeholders of the school. It's very important. So we also have the real-time notifications in case a student is marked absent, and that is automatically sent without the person marking typing anything. It's automatically sent to the parent based on the information or their contact information which is stored in the system. So that is more about the attendance. We also have examinations, which are it's a very important module in this particular case, whereby I told you about the learning areas. All these are learning areas. There are 46 of them, and you can be able to see them. Now, when it comes to examination, once we have already listed the learning areas, we need to associate a grade and learning area. Which class does which? learning areas or other subjects. So in this case, if I click on grade and learning areas, you are able to see that we can associate. For example, if I create new, I can be able to say, if I select grade 1, I can select all. Of course, they're not doing all, but I can say grade 1 is doing mathematics, language activities, environmental activities, psychomotor and creative activities, religious and moral activities. 7. These are 4, 6, 7, 8. No, they do about 7. Let me remove this one, and then do that. 7 of them, and then save. Once you save them, you're able to say, wow, yeah, grade 1, they have these subjects which are done. And if you try to filter, you can be able to see all of them in that particular order. So whether they are mandatory or optional, it's upon you to choose whether they are mandatory or optional. But technically, these are the subjects which the students do. Now, very important, very interesting part. Another thing is assessments, clear data, whereby we associate grades with learning areas. Now we can be able to say, now grade 1, we should be able to give an assessment and also put the data in the system so that it generates for us. Now, before we go to the entry of assessments done by the student, let me show you something which is assessment types. It's very important because we need to define the assessment types before you can create an assessment. So we'll create an assessment type. These are just exam type. Like we can say open exam, open assessment, I don't know, open assessment, and say okay. So once you do that, then it will create one assessment. Let's say now we add another one called midterm or something, midterm assessment, and then we click save. We have saved two assessments. So if we come to when we come to now the examination module, you'll be able to see that we can now give an assessment. We have given assessment, we have marked. Now it's time to put the data so that we can be able to generate the results. So in this case, let's go to new. Yeah, now this is very interesting. If you look at this, there's nothing, but you need to now select the year, the term. Maybe we're doing for term 1. Then you select the grade. Remember, our grade is grade 1. Then all the learning areas for that particular grade have been loaded. The ones we have assigned. We assigned around 6 of them or 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Oh, this is student full name. There are 7 of them. And you can be able to see all of them have loaded. Otherwise, if we had loaded or assigned like 8 subjects, they will all appear there. Very easy. And then we select the grade, which stream, stream A, stream B. All our students belong to stream A. And in this case, we can be able to see all of them have loaded. Mercy, blah, 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 all the way to the 5th student. So if we choose B, then we don't expect anything unless there's a student. We don't have any student in B. So we'll do A, and then in this case now, it presents you with a student. The subject is already loaded, and the score now it's upon the teacher or rather the person entering the marks to be able to pull. So I can just put random marks in this case. You can put random marks for the student. Remember, it doesn't allow text, so it won't allow any text. And if you go past 100, it will show you that you can't go past 100. I'm trying to type it. Just gives you 100. So in this case, you can't even go negative. So it's very well done. I teach mathematical activities. I can just come and put my marks within the subject against the subjects which I'm marking, and I save and go. Another person or rather another teacher can be able to pull their marks. Language activities, where they are, from where they are, log in and pull the marks and save. So at the end of the day, every teacher, when they put their marks, then we'll have a complete set like the one we have. So once you feed this data, then now you can say, let me select the assessment. I say opener, and then save this. So this data is automatically saved in the system. And yeah, teachers are done already. So basically we do not have, so we will be able to see that we already have something here. um, we already have the entries so that you do not worry about the entries which are there. So you can see every student has just one entry. telling you that we have already entered their marks. So if you wanted to do a quick search of students who have not do assessment, or rather not assessment, analysis of the learning areas. So in this case, we need to pull this part. Now this is where we analyze the results. For example, we entered marks for 2023, term 1, grade 1, the stream is and then open exam. So once you do that, you'll be able to see analysis of everything. You can be able to see the student ID, you have student name, their mark, their rubric value, another learning area, rubric value, learning area, rubric value, all the way to the last one. And if you scroll towards my right, you'll be able to see that we have the rubric, the overall total marks out of 700. We have average marks, we have the total rubrics, because every rubric is, every subject maximum is 4 points. So 4 times 7 get 28, so that should be the total. So this one scored 23 out of the 28. Then the average rubric, of course, divide by 4, the total divide by 4, you'll be able to see together. So this is exactly how the results analysis works. And then you can be able to now export this into an Excel, or maybe now generate a detailed report of their performance based on this particular report. You can see it's very well done for that particular case. The finance modules. Finance module is very huge, and probably the next time I'll be taking you through a thorough, because we need to declare vote heads for each. The vote heads are very important so that we do not we know exactly where our money, or rather the money, the breakdown of every fee structure. It's basically breaking down is the vote heads. And again, as the vote heads, we also have priority, whereby we say that if a student pays, this is a priority. If it exceeds this amount, then it goes to the other prioritized vote head. We also have expenses. Expenses is very important. We need to monitor expenditure, how the school is basically spending. So in this case, if I say we're doing for 2023, term 1, let's say the school spent 50,000, for example. Category, all right, it's not defined. I need to define category. So let me define category, expense categories. So sometimes school can spend money on transport. We also have the to spend. I can be able to input, or rather put an expense, create a new expense, term 1. Then I say for 59,000 Kenya shillings was spent on fuel. You can see the on this date. So we describe this. Let me just say fuel. I don't want to do a lot of text typing, and then save. So in this case, every expense that has been approved will be able to come here, and you can be able to see 2023 term 1, blah blah blah. And at the end of the day, we need to have a detailed report of how the expenses have been affected in the system. So if we present the list of expenses versus the income that we've received, then we are able to take, or rather account for the money that has been channeled into the school. Right. Within the finance module, we also have invoices, and this is the bottom line of everything. When the students are on board into the school, we also give them invoice. And if you look at this, you can be able to see the invoices are already here, right? Invoices are here against each and every student. So in as much as we can be able to do let's do one. This is how you create the invoice. Let's say 2022, for example, term 1, and then we say we are invoicing the class, because you can invoice a specific student and then choose here. Or rather, if you don't want to invoice a specific student, you uncheck this and then you choose the grade which you want to send invoice. So in this case, I'm choosing grade 1 for 2022, and then I'll say the voted 7,000. We also have transport 8,000. This is Kenyan money, or rather any currency can work. We have 6,000 on exams, and boarding we have 26,000, 5,600. So this will give you the total of that 1,100 by that, and you can remove whatever you don't need to invoice in this case. So if I click on negative, it removes. And invoice reports. Invoice reports, after you do the invoicing, you'll be able to get the invoicing report. So the invoice report is right here. You can be able to see, because here we ensure that every semester I can be able to see how much we invoiced. So in this case, it loads the student admission number and then the voted on the top and then the totals of everything. You can be able to see them here. So for your own decision making, then you can be able to export this maybe to any format in for your own analysis or for your own decision making process. So that is the part of the finance where we generate the invoicing reports. And then we also have ad hocs in case we have some extra payments apart from the voted. You can manage the invoicing of just specific students based on some variations. Then we also have the fees payment. Fees payment is very important because it enables us to receive the payment. So in this case, I can create a new payment for someone just to redeem some money. So term one, we select the student here. You can be able to search. So if I do Sheldon Cooper, and then we say payment is M-Pesa, then amount, maybe we say he's paying 20,000. Date of payment could be today or another day, and you can choose it. The transaction ID, you can just enter. Of course, we want to automate this so that we can be able to make it easy. So if you want to send an SMS, if once you commit this, then you can check here so that it sent an SMS after you submit this. So I don't want to send an SMS to the parent. I want to just save it as it is. So in this case, you'll be able to see the totals coming here. So we also have in the finance, we also have the fee balances. Of course, at the end of the day, we want to see how money has been paid in terms of every student. So we can be able to see it here. So these are the payments because we haven't received a lot of payments. That's why you are able to see most of the students have not paid anything, and you can be able to send them a reminder that this money needs to be paid. So you can remind those who have maybe balances of a particular range. You can remind the parents to make the payment. So if you look at this, we have made a transaction of 20,000 for Sheldon Cooper, and you can see it here. In this case, you can be able to see the amount here. So the balance for that student is 5179, and it is unsettled, so they haven't finished the payment of that total amount. Once it is settled, then it turns to green. In that case, very nice report, and you can export this into an Excel or CSV, wherever you deem okay. Then we also have users. Here we manage users, their roles and permissions. For example, here we have two users, as you saw on that particular case. So it's a module by itself. We also have permissions which have been attached to every. There are so many. The permissions are very many, and of course, this is the administrative part. We have the roles. Like we define a role and give them permission. For example, here we are using the administrator role, admin role, and that is what I'm using. It has been given like the entire of the system to be able to access. We also have teachers and parents whereby we capture the information about teachers. I think we had no teacher, so we capture these details about the teachers. We also capture guardian information, in this case the parent, their phone number, their emails and all that, so that we can be able to communicate to them when need arises. We also attach now the parent to the children within the school, because we understand maybe a single student can be having us more than maybe one two parents, and it's very important that we ensure that we communicate to all of them when need arises. Very important because it enables us to communicate to the stakeholders, and that's very important. So for you to create a bulk SMS or other communication, you just need to check this. Sometimes you might need to communicate through SMS. You can be able to also send an email, because remember in the parent details we're also capturing the email if it is there. So in this case we can combine all of them. So sometimes you might not be only be communicating to the parents. You can include the parents, even the school staff. So we do the subject and also the message here. And then if you have an attachment, you can attach it here and then save. So if it is sent through email, it will have the attachment. But of course, we know that phone SMS might not be able to support the attachment, so we avoid it in the sending of the SMS. Very important. And then we have settings whereby we set the profile, we set the rubrics, we set also the bulk SMS account, so, and then we activate it. So if you go to the dashboard, you'll be able to see that a few things have changed, like the amounts, because we have already invoiced some other figures. We have also received some amount from, we, basically the dashboard data will be dynamically changing according to how we feed the data into the system. And that's a preview of our system. Rate it down there and give us your comment. If you want the system, we can be able to even sell it to you, and we'll appreciate, yeah, your